Hello again. So today you find me in the UK's second biggest city, Birmingham. I'm going to go for a paddle today. It's going to be a really exciting paddle for me today because it's another urban canal and I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be really good. So let's get on the water and I'll give you a little bit of history about where I am and why I'm here. Okay, so Birmingham grew up on the back of the coal industry, and in 1768 it was decided that it was really difficult to get the coal out of Birmingham. Roads were pretty difficult things to use in those days, so the Birmingham Canal Company was formed. And in 1768, between 1768 and 1772, the Birmingham Mainline Canal was built, and that was very, very popular. That was some way south of here. It was so popular that it got really congested in a very short amount of time. So, much as it was popular with the coal mines that could get to it, there were a lot of coal mines that were too far out to the north and couldn't get to it. So they got together and they decided to build another canal, which is the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal, which is the one I'm on right now. Now, that was designed in around 1870 and it was finally finished in 1889. That was able to link up with the newly finished Oxford Canal in 1789. It went all the way down from joining the Coventry Canal, which was also finished in 1789, all the way down to London to join to the Thames. So the Oxford came from Oxford, from the Thames, all the way up to the Coventry Canal at Coventry, and the Coventry Canal came all the way up to here, to the Midlands. So they managed to join up in 1789 the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal, and that joined up at a place called Gravelly Hill in the north of Birmingham. And in 1789, when it opened, because the mine owners had been waiting so long for it to open, they were all ready to go, and literally overnight it transformed Birmingham. All of the coal from all over it, and all of the rest of the freight as well, it meant it had an almost direct route via the Oxford Canal, also the Junction Canal as well, all the way down to London, where the coal and the goods could be used in London and exported all around the world. So the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal, it remained really congested and really difficult to use after that congestion peaked. It remained like that until 1844. And in 1844, a decision was made to build two more canals. One, if we look over there, one going that way, is the Tame Valley Canal. That was opened in 1844. But also there was the Birmingham and Warwick Junction Canal, which is actually this one down here, and that one joined up with the Grand Junction Canal that then later became the Grand Union Canal, which meant that this basically bypass meant that not everything had to go down the Birmingham and Fazeley Canal. So then what you ended up with was a very, very congested junction here. Salford Junction it's called, and it was hugely congested. If you imagine, if you took all of the freight and all of the coal off of the roads now today, if we had coal running on the roads so much, and you suddenly put it all on the waterways, that would be massively congested, because there were no motorways, there was nothing like that in them days. Now, that all came through here. Every stitch of that came through this junction from the north, and it was absolutely incredible. And then the years got on, and the railways were invented, and a lot of that stuff, and eventually all of that stuff, started going on the railways. And then the railways started to become quite unpopular, for freight anyway. So they built our motorway network. And our motorway network, anybody that knows the M6 that comes past the north of Birmingham, there's a junction here called the Gravelly Hill Interchange, and the Gravelly Hill Interchange is actually what everybody around here and everybody everywhere knows as Spaghetti Junction. I'm coming right away, I'm going to go right away underneath Spaghetti Junction now. Now anybody that lives in Birmingham, they'll tell you it's got more canals than Venice, and that's absolutely true. At the height of its use, the canals around Birmingham, there were 160 miles of those canals, and even today, navigable canals in Birmingham, there's still 100 miles of canals that are fit enough to get a narrowboat down, which is what they were built for. So, you know, that's pretty amazing, and anybody that paddleboards in the Midlands should take note, really, because they're very underused as far as paddle sport goes. I'm guessing because, well, I know, because people think they're dirty, horrible places. But do you know what? People fly from all over the world to go to Venice. I've been to Venice in the summer, and it stinks. I don't want to take anything away from Venice, but it is an open sewer. Now, I'm here paddling along. The main thing I can smell, I can tell you right now, is hot rubber from the tyres of the wheels of the trucks that are going over the top of me on that massive great junction. 1972 that opened. If you think to yourself, when this canal was built, there were a few workshops. There were two quite big feeder reservoirs for the canal, and there were a few houses, but basically it was built across fields. It was easier to do that because you didn't have to have complicated negotiations with the landowners, which was always a problem. So it's a little bit different to the fields that it was built across in 1889, don't you think? And all of those people up there, I guarantee you that most of them don't even know this is here. And I love that, actually. Good morning. So I've just popped down the Birmingham and Warwick Junction Canal, which was kind of a bypass, really. It sort of tried to bypass the junction. It's 2.5 miles long. It's got 6 locks in that 2.5 miles because there's quite a lot of up and down in Birmingham. It kind of feels straight if you're walking around the centre of it, but there's 3 levels to Birmingham, which meant that the 3 separate main canal bits had to be on 3 levels, so there's a lot of locks. If you look at it on a map, you'll see there are tons of locks to take everything up and take everything down. It's a remarkable place, it really is, and it's now all kind of amalgamated into what they call the BCN, the Birmingham Canal network. And in the summer, with all of the hire boats, it's a busy place. It is. 99% of the boats that are on the canals nowadays are leisure boats, considered to be leisure boats anyway. There's a lot of people live on them, a lot of what they call continuous cruisers, and a lot of hire boats. There's hardly any working boats, which is completely the opposite, obviously, to how it used to be, because it used to be 99% freight. And that over there is the Tame, the actual Tame River. Obviously not navigable because it's too shallow. So they are. So that is Salford Junction on the canal. Spaghetti Junction right above me right now. It's quite a noisy place, but it's not a dirty place. The canals are really underused, you know, by paddleboarders and kayakers and anybody into paddle sport. There's 100 miles of canals here in the Midlands, and I get people ask me, where is there to paddle around the Midlands? There's nowhere. Oh, no, I don't want to go on the canals. You're so missing out. There's so much history and there's so much fun to be had. Anyway, like, subscribe, stay tuned.